Hello there, welcome in the latest edition of the SAU Baseball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gagos, joined alongside head baseball coach Steve Browning. And Coach, this Coaches Show, we've got some quite a bit of things to talk about. Going back to last weekend at Henderson State on the road, a Great American Conference Series. A lot of hype, I think, surrounding that series from maybe Henderson's standpoint, coming off of just the recent history. This has kind of become a little bit of a rivalry of sorts between us and Henderson State in baseball. They have, their new facility upgrades with the turf and field lights and everything else around that. But you go there, you play Henderson State, a 3-game series, come away in that first game, a tough loss there in their last at-bat. A leadoff triple winds up coming around to score the game-winning run in the last half inning. We bounce back the next day on Saturday, come up with a big 12-3 win, and really having a big first inning and a big last inning to kind of separate yourselves there. And then in the third game, ran into a pretty good starting pitcher who kept us off the board until the 7th inning. It's probably maybe one of those games, too, where that 7-inning game almost works to a detriment sometimes to some teams, because maybe you'd feel if you had a couple more innings, you could have maybe put some stuff together. But talk about that weekend series, the 2 close games, and then coming away with the 1 win.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, it's a disappointing weekend in the sense of losing the series, because that's, going into that weekend, we talked about winning every series the rest of the way to give ourselves a chance. I thought we had done the 2 previous weekends. I thought we had done a good job kind of putting ourselves back in the mix of being up one of the teams at the top there, and we just kind of made it known to our players that we need to pretty much win every series and sweep 1 or 2 along the way. And so you go out there and right off the bat, after you start talking about that, you lose a series. But there were some positives to take out of it, and it's one of those deals you can't go back and change the negative side of things. And hopefully we had a good talk afterwards, and hopefully it's one of those deals where we can learn from our mistakes and move forward and try to put that weekend behind us the best we can. No offense to Henderson. They did what they needed to do to beat us. They got the hit when they needed to hit and made the catch when they needed to make the catch, and we didn't. But we obviously we don't feel like we played our best baseball this past weekend, and hopefully maybe the negative side of it, we'll learn from it and take some good from it and move in the right direction.
You had another midweek game this week, the second straight week you've been able to have a midweek game. This one was against LSU Shreveport. Play them about, they're at least on the schedule twice a year. Sometimes we play them more, sometimes less because of weather and things like that. But great competition. They're one of the top teams in the NAIA. Obviously SAU historically one of the top teams in Division II. So the matchup makes a lot of sense when you start talking about location and competition. This past Tuesday, a wild one there. Leads kind of shifted back and forth, both sides back and forth. Get to the 9th with a 1-run lead, a bang-bang play at the plate that could have ended it. Sends it to the bottom of the 9th, and then not long after the bottom of the 9th to come away with the win, 10-9. Talk about, though, the last 2 midweek games. You've been able to bring in a lot of different pitchers, guys that maybe hadn't gotten as much work on the weekends, some relievers for you, but also some guys that are trying to work themselves back from injury and being a part of the big plans later on this year. As Timothy Buchanan and Travis Johnson. Talk about them because they pitched pretty well in their last 2 outings.
They have, and that's been the biggest part. That's been the best thing actually about playing midweek games the last couple of weeks, is allowing some guys, like you said, that haven't got a whole lot of work in, and make sure we get them out there. And then, we just feel like with a guy like Timmy and a guy like Travis, if we can get them back the second half of the season here and they're healthy, I mean, that's a big boost for us. And everybody wants fresh arms, and obviously as you go out through the course of the season, you're not going to have fresh arms. But we have a chance to have some fresh arms, I guess, at the end of the season due to injuries early in the year. So we're trying to baby them back in, I guess, a little bit, give them an inning here and an inning there, and we really like what we've seen. Timmy looks like he's never missed a beat. He goes out and throwing strike, has surgery, comes out throwing strike, and Travis the same way. Both of them, though, we got to build up their stamina. Because there's a lot of things they weren't able to do, not being able to throw, that would have, created some endurance. But that's been a big boost for us. And just like you said, the ability to throw a bunch of different guys, is going to help us down the stretch. Because we need guys to stay locked in, stay focused, stay hungry. And if you sit over there and you're never getting throw, and then all of a sudden we get to the end of the season or a conference tournament, whatever the case is, and they get the ball flipped to them they hadn't thrown in 2 months, you don't know what you're going to get. So that has been the positive over the last 2 weeks, and then I guess winning the ball game too. You know what I'm saying? Because it has been in dramatic fashion, midweek games the last 2 weeks. But you may get that sometimes when you're throwing a lot of different guys out there. All it takes is one guy to kind of break the chain, and all of a sudden you're behind again. And luckily they bring somebody else in, and we get on their pitcher. So it's fun, I guess, for the fans. Coaching side of it, it'll give you some gray hair for sure.
Well, upcoming this weekend, you're on the road again. You're going to Harding. Mother Nature earlier this week has kind of made this a little bit unknown on when it's going to actually start. So be sure to check MealRideAthletics.com for the latest scheduling. But you are going to play a 3-game series at some point this weekend against Harding. As you've mentioned, it's just another chance to go out there and have a positive weekend. Looking for a series win, keeping pace with everyone else in the conference as everyone else is trying to do. Just kind of go ahead and preview that matchup at Harding.
Well, it's Harding and us have had some good battles, and if you look at over the course of the history since we've been in GAC, and we look back at the teams that we've had really, really close games with, and even lost a fair share to, has been Harding. We it's not any different than any other series is going to be the rest of the year. We're going to have to show up and hook it up because we're going to have a team that's fighting as well as we are. We all know this. The closer and closer you get to the last weekend, those games get more and more important, and for both sides. And you got one team that maybe is still fighting for a chance at putting themselves in a position to be at the top of the conference, and you got one team that's maybe fighting for a chance to make sure they stay, in the chance at the running there at the conference. So there'll be a lot on the line. We got to go to their place. They get to play at home. They've had some rain, so that's why the series is kind of right now is kind of up in the air as far as when exactly we play. They got a lot of rain actually, and but we do know that we're going to be able to get our games in, and we'll show up and go to Searcy when we get that phone call and say come on, and we'll go up there and hopefully be ready to play.
Appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head baseball coach Steve Browning. He and his Mule Riders again going up to Searcy, Arkansas to take on Harding University for a 3-game Great American Conference Series. Again, the weather's kind of have the schedule this year is a little bit up in the air, so be sure to check MealRideAthletics.com for all your pre- and post-game coverage and the most up-to-date schedule information for that series as well. Coach, we appreciate it. Best of luck.
Thank you.